You raised a very important point, sir, which is about we have shown the capability, and a lot of it was indigenous, or some in partnership, but the adversary can also catch up soon, right? So two questions. What does it take to maintain the edge with the tech that is changing so fast? What does it take to change the regulatory system? How different is it from other procurement systems and so on? How different should it be? That's a question I wanted to ask, and I'll come to you, General Pandey, in a second, sir. But I wanted to ask both you and Smit. Smit is the president of the Drones Federation of India. And Smit, you've driven a lot of the pioneering work in terms of the policy side, worked closely with the government, with the Prime Minister, with various policy makers on creating this enabling environment for the drone ecosystem in this country. And we're seeing the results of some of that now. So what worked for us and what needs to change so we can scale up? And if I can come to you first, then General Singh, General Pandey, and then I'll open it up to you, sir, about your drones as well.
Thank you, Dr. Naren. I think one thing that we need to appreciate is that when this conflict was ongoing, we didn't really have to send planes to some other countries and get stuff from there. And that was because there is a well-established plan and a thought process. And I use the word thought process because in 2021, when there were global conflicts as well as a lot of other events that were coming together, India as a nation very well understood the importance, both the strategic as well as the economic importance of this technology, and started laying out a red carpet for drone companies in India. And this happened because of 3-4 different things in terms of the policy and creation of an environment. And why I use the word environment, you'll know when I talk about the 4 things. First of all, there was a policy that was completely opened up. So we had drone rules 2021, although it's for the civilian space, but that is the primary.
That was 2021 before the big drones summit that was held in Delhi.
Exactly. So 2021, the policy opened up. Opening up of the policy motivates a lot of companies to start thinking about the sector, start building drones, even though the policy is for the civilian space, but the moment the civilian space is very well opened up and is popularized, it invites more and more people to start drone companies and who then eventually transition to the defense side as well. Once you have an easy policy, the second thing that you would require to push, of course, in India is money. So government came in and said, okay, let's bring in a PLI scheme and bring financial incentives. If you do 100 rupees of sales and 40 rupees is your purchase cost, 100 minus 40, very simple mathematics gives you 60 rupees. Government came in and gave 20% incentive on this. So it is direct money in the hands of the entrepreneur who is doing sales. And when you have good policy and financial incentive, it becomes a very open ground for many companies, including foreign companies. But here government wanted to bring in disproportionate support for Indian companies. That's when the third intervention came in, which is the import ban on completely built unit and semi-knockdown kit and completely knockdown kit. It essentially means that you can't really have a manufacturer building technology there, sending the drone as a whole or in parts without having a proper manufacturing base in the country. So you have this trio of the environment which gives a very disproportionate recognition and support for Indian players. And all of this was thought from a perspective of building intellectual property in India and manufacturing capability both, not just IP.
And that's something that, because policymakers generally are reluctant about changing things. But in this case, as I understand it, Prime Minister Modi understood this and Prime Minister Modi pushed this personally.
Yeah, personally, I mean, it is the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi who should be the only person who should take the primary credit for an intervention like this. And of course, it was industry, academia and all government coming together under this central vision. Not the vision about policy change, but about the entire vision of India becoming a global drone hub with a specific focus on creating intellectual property. What happens is in a lot of other ecosystems, we try to focus on manufacturing. And manufacturing can only take you to building production quality. But technology enhancement and cutting edge in tech only happens when you focus on IP. So that's the niche that came in.
That is what worked for us. That is the power that sort of manifested itself in the skies in the conflict. The question now is that what next and what needs to become better, because, and this is a question for the whole panel, sir, because there are 2 generals here who've served in the army, who've dealt with procurement, who've dealt with other weapon systems. We have a scientist on the panel who's built perhaps India's most potent weapon. You've been involved in policy, you dealt with a lot of new tech. In terms of, explain to us, why does the current system still need a lot more reform, and what are those reforms that are needed to maintain India's tech edge or defense edge on tech?
Thank you so much. I really wanted this question to come up So I am a Gujarati from Bombay, never satisfied with what is already there. So I want to bring in a flavor of what are the three things that we can do. And I think as of now, procurements are slightly slower. And procurements, the nature of the process demands for more than one company to participate, which is why sometimes we see dilution of specs and tech capabilities. The specific thing that needs to be done is that the user and the industry needs to sit together and prepare a roadmap of what is required. And this roadmap has to be such that when a company achieves a threshold, that is the equipment that you need to procure. At that time, we can't really say where are the three bidders going to come from and how do we make sure that, if I have a spec that is defined, let's say, I'm going to give an example. I want a UAV that is having the capability of going 100 kilometers and doing surveillance and having jamming proof and GPS proof kind of specifications. This roadmap has to, ascertain that when a company achieves this, the next thing is going to be an order. So that's how companies will be motivated to build tech and break technology benchmarks. That's the first thing that needs to happen. The second thing that needs to happen is, irrespective of what platform you are building, when we talk about conflicts, there is a requirement of, building any type of platform from the smallest one to the largest one, which is electronic warfare hardened. So there are many ancillary technology areas that need to be built in, where government needs to start giving in research. The outcome will not be a platform that can be procured by the defense forces, but it is going to be a lot of ancillary technologies like GPS jamming, proof navigation, vision-based navigation, RF communication jamming proof, sort of technologies, and many other types of niche technologies, which I don't want to name on a public platform right now, but these will be an input for the top 20 drone companies that are anyways building platforms. So that is the second thing that we need to work on. And third and the most important thing, sorry, I'm just taking a little bit more time, is that we need to start planning for fast track procurement. We can't really be running around on finding a potential solution when there is a conflict. What happens right now is you have 1.5 months of 1.5 years of product development, then 1.5 years of delivery. In this 1.5 years of delivery, the people who did not got the order are all at zero. So what we need to do is we need to have multi-year long-term contracts so that you have capacity every year.